Elijah wasn't just any prophet. He was a firebrand, an unyielding advocate for the worship of the one true God. His life was a living testament to faith, and his name, like a celestial whisper, reminded everyone that Jehovah was his God. Imagine the resonance of that name echoing through the hills and valleys of Israel. Elijah, the one whose God is Yahweh. Elijah's very existence seemed to echo his divine purpose, proclaiming the Almighty's greatness. But why did Elijah stand out? Why was he chosen for such a remarkable mission? Stick around to find out. Elijah's name itself carries significance, a fusion of two Hebrew words, El, meaning God, and Yah, a Jewish derivative of the name, Jehovah. Elijah's life is punctuated by extraordinary miracles, each a brushstroke on the canvas of divine revelation. Elijah prayed and closed the heavens. For 3.5 years rain ceased. He represented a powerful symbol of God's authority over nature, a celestial pause in the rhythm of life. He multiplied flour and oil. During his stay with the widow of Zarephath, her meager supplies miraculously sustained them. Here, provision flowed from scarcity, a metaphor for God's abundant grace. Elijah's intercession restored life to a dead boy, the widow's son. Scholars believe this miracle is a foreshadowing of resurrection. These miracles underscore God's sovereignty and Elijah's role as his messenger, a conduit for the miraculous. Elijah's mission was clear: to confront idolatry head-on. He stood before King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, who promoted the worship of Baal. His name, Jehovah is my God, epitomized his unwavering commitment to monotheism. Elijah's fiery character mirrored his God-given power in a land where false gods proliferated. At one time, Elijah came under serious threat of life and wanted to die. He faced severe persecution from Queen Jezebel, who came after him. Fleeing from Jezebel's threats, Elijah sought refuge in the desert. There, he despaired, asking God to take his life. His vulnerability revealed that even great heroes face moments of doubt and fear. But God's response was tender: nourishment, guidance, and a journey to Mount Horeb. In the desert's barrenness, Elijah learned resilience and divine care. Fast forward to the New Testament. On the Mount of Transfiguration, Moses and Elijah appeared alongside Jesus. Moses, representing the law, and Elijah, the prophets, stood with the Messiah. Their presence emphasized continuity, God's plan unfolding across time. Elijah's most iconic moment unfolded on Mount Carmel, from a barren hilltop scorched by the relentless sun, surrounded by a crowd of skeptical onlookers. On one side stood the prophets of Baal, fervently calling upon their God to ignite a sacrificial offering. On the other side stood Elijah, alone, resolute, and unwavering. These events are recorded in the book of 1 Kings chapter 18 from verse 1. The challenge was simple. Whichever deity answered with fire would be declared the true God. The prophets of Baal danced, chanted, and slashed themselves, but their altar remained cold and lifeless. With a calm resolve, Elijah rebuilt the broken-down altar of the Lord, drenched it in water, and prayed. And then it happened. A blazing inferno consumed the offering, the wood, the stones, and even the water. The people fell to their knees, declaring, "The Lord, He is God." But Elijah's journey would not end on Mount Carmel. After the fiery spectacle, he retreated to Mount Horeb, Sinai. There he encountered God, not in the tempest, earthquake, or fire, but in a gentle whisper, a still, small voice. This encounter revealed that God's presence isn't always in the spectacular. Sometimes it's in the quiet moments, the whispers of the soul. Elijah's fiery ascent. The story of Elijah's rapture is documented in 2 Kings 2 verses 1 to 12. Elijah, the fiery prophet, had completed his earthly ministry. He knew that God was about to take him away and instructed his faithful disciple, Elisha, to stay behind. However, Elisha refused to leave his side. As they journeyed together, they encountered groups of prophets who foretold Elijah's departure. Elisha responded with determination each time, "As the Lord lives, and as your soul lives, I will not leave you." Finally, a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared at the Jordan River. separating Elijah and Elisha. Elijah was taken up into heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha witnessed this extraordinary event and received a double portion of Elijah's spirit, continuing the prophetic ministry. This is described as a foreshadowing of the second coming. Elijah's rapture holds significant parallels with the second coming of Christ. It speaks of Christ's imminent return. Elijah's sudden departure emphasizes the unexpected nature of Christ's return. Just as Elijah was taken without warning, Jesus promised that his coming would be like a thief in the night. Matthew 24 verses 42 to 44. Elijah's rapture also foreshadows the transformation and resurrection. His ascent was a transformation from mortality to immortality. Similarly, believers will experience a transformation when Christ returns. Our mortal bodies will be changed into glorious, immortal bodies. 1 Corinthians 15 verses 51 to 53 reads, "Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed." Elisha, the faithful disciple, represents the remnant of believers who eagerly await Christ's return. Like Elisha, we should be watchful and prepared for the Lord's coming. In the New Testament, both Jesus and John the Baptist are associated with Elijah. Jesus identified John as the Elijah who is to come, Matthew 11 verse 14. However, while the Bible provides the primary account of Elijah's life and rapture, other ancient texts also mention him. For instance, the Talmud, a collection of Jewish writings, contains references to Elijah. Jewish tradition holds that Elijah will return before the Messiah comes. This belief is based on Malachi 4 verses 5 to 6, which speaks of Elijah's future role. "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with a curse." Elijah also appears in various ancient texts beyond the Hebrew Bible, such as the Book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, which includes a passage about Elijah. In Sirach 48 1-11, Elijah's wondrous deeds, including shutting up the heavens and bringing down fire, are celebrated. His role as a powerful prophet is highlighted. Jewish tradition extensively discusses Elijah. His name is invoked during the weekly Havdalah rite, marking the end of Shabbat, Passover Seder, and Brit Milah, ritual circumcision. Elijah's return is anticipated during the end of times. His references appear in the Haggadah and rabbinic literature, including the Babylonian Talmud. Elijah is also recognized in Baha'i writings, which emphasize the unity of all religious teachings. His role as a harbinger of the eschaton and the Messiah is acknowledged. The Baha'i faith is a worldwide religion founded in the 19th century. It teaches the essential worth of all religions and the unity of all people. The significance of Elijah's rapture. Outside the Bible, there are no direct accounts of Elijah's rapture. However, various ancient texts and legends mention him. For example, the apocryphal work The Ascension of Isaiah refers to Elijah's heavenly ascent. Elijah's rapture foreshadows the glorious return of Christ. His sudden departure reminds us to be vigilant and ready for the day when the Lord will come again. While ancient manuscripts and traditions provide additional insights, the Bible remains our primary source for understanding Elijah's extraordinary life and prophetic ministry. But why was Elijah exempted from death? Perhaps because his unwavering faith had already bridged the gap between mortality and eternity. His name, Jehovah is my God, sounded with the people and the heavens. Elijah's mission was complete. He had prepared the way for the Messiah. But what about other great heroes of faith? Abraham, Moses, and countless others faced death. Why did they have to tread the path of mortality? It is that their stories teach us that faith isn't about escaping life's struggles, but navigating them with courage. Abraham's willingness to sacrifice Isaac, Moses leading the Israelites through the Red Sea, and David's facing of Goliath. All these moments required faith in the face of mortality. Elijah's fiery ascent reminds us that sometimes faith transcends earthly boundaries. It's not about avoiding death, but embracing life fully, knowing that our journey doesn't end here. So, let's take a page from Elijah's book. Let our faith burn like a chariot of fire, propelling us toward eternity. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, one day we'll glimpse Elijah riding those celestial flames, beckoning us to join him in the heavens. Elijah's life was marked by miracles, droughts, ravens delivering food, and even raising a widow's son from the dead. But his most extraordinary moment came when he was about to leave this earthly realm. God had a unique plan for Elijah, no ordinary death. Instead, a chariot of fire descended, horses of fire galloped, and Elijah was whisked away into the heavens. Imagine the awe of those who witnessed it, the flames licking the sky, the thunderous hooves, and Elijah ascending like a comet. Elijah's legacy transcends religious boundaries, making him a significant figure in multiple faith traditions. His fiery zeal and unwavering commitment to God inspire believers across cultures and generations. His legacy speaks to us about faithfulness. We should always stand firm even when surrounded by opposition. It teaches about dependence on God. Our strength lies in reliance on the Almighty. Elijah's legacy speaks of humility. Even heroes face doubt. Vulnerability doesn't diminish greatness. And lastly, it speaks of God's presence. We should seek Him in the spectacular and the whispers of the soul. In Elijah, we find courage, vulnerability, and unwavering faith, a beacon across ages. His fiery ascent echoes through eternity, beckoning us to seek God's still small voice amid life's tumultuous fires.